Today we'll talk about Copilot for budget planning, and we go a little bit into Vodafone's approach on how actually to do AI-driven performance marketing and how they implement that. So today in this masterclass, we will talk about Vodafone's story to actually go into this journey of fully AI-driven budgeting, but also how Copilots can be used today in the budget planning and simulations. And last but not least, brutally honest to you, what are the limits and challenges we face, and also which obviously will be here in general. So this is the plan of today, and I want to introduce for that Emiliano Bozzi.
Nice to meet you.
So,
Thanks for having me.
Emiliano Bozzi is the head of digital marketing and data strategy for Vodafone, and responsible for all digital advertising in Italy. And I myself am the co-founder and CEO of Nexoya, a startup who does budget optimization in this field. So with that, enjoy the flight. I hope whether there will be no turbulences, and if so, I will tell you. Here we go, please.
Thank you, Marco. Hi, everybody. I'm really glad to be here. So as Marco said, I'm the head of digital marketing in Vodafone Italy. I don't know, for the ones of you who don't know Vodafone, Vodafone is a global telco. In Italy, it's present. It's been present for 20 years now. We have 7,000 employees, and more importantly, 10 million customers. And we have some challenges. I believe these are very peculiar challenges. I'm pretty sure none of you has these challenges in their digital marketing activities. No, just kidding. We work in a very heavily competitive scenario industry. We have high targets to be reached every month. And for the job we do, we need to work with walled gardens, and we have technological limits. So now cookie deprecation won't be deprecated anymore. We don't know, but that's one of the possible challenges we are facing in doing digital advertising. So these challenges results in many actions that needs to be taken every day in order to achieve such targets, in order to perform better toward our business stakeholders and all the team, which are challenges due to the scenario. So prices may change, promotions may be introduced, new promotions. We might have budget cuts or budget improvements, like after 10 days in the month, we might receive an increase in our budgets, and we need to be aware how to spend it, okay, where to put it. Okay. So the industry itself is complex. A bit more about our team. So we work for the B2C division, and we basically have two streams of product. The first one is broadband connectivity, so home Wi-Fi, and the other one is smartphone plans. And in addition, we have media plans that spans across, let's say, 10 to 15 digital channels that are to be activated every month and are to be orchestrated so that we are sure we don't overspend on a certain channel while we reach the maximum efficiency on the others. We do not just have biddable platforms, which we handle internally. We also rely on the media agency to handle campaigns such as reservation, not anymore, but also performance campaigns such as lead generation campaigns with affiliate and different types of partnerships. And also, of course, the price comparison websites, which are, it's a huge market in Italy, at least for telcos and utilities. But these channels cannot be easily tweaked or handled as we do with Meta, for instance, because we do not have access directly to the budget management for such partnership. So, and this covers, let's say, 50% of the budget, more or less. Okay, so it's huge. We need to take care also of that part. Okay, so this is, in one slide, all the difficulties we have in doing our job. Price changes, budget changes, monthly planning, not just for this month, because we need to make adjustment as the month moves forward, but also for the next month, and maybe for the next quarter, and maybe for the entire fiscal year. So, okay, this is complex. So we were in search for someone or something that could help us streamline all these processes to achieve more efficiency in bringing business results. Okay, we are lucky because within the digital environment, it's easier to do this. Also if you don't have everything under control, but it's easier. And this is where we met with Nexoia. So what Nexoia is providing now to us is basically a co-pilot, as the title states. So they are able to run up to 6 weeks simulation scenarios, with which we can do some exercises like what will happen if we are going to increase or decrease the budget, the total budget of the month by 10% or even 20%. I mean, you can put constraints on it anyway. So you are in control again. And how will this affect my cost per acquisition at the end of the month? What would be the final results in terms of sales? Then we also have one very healthy thing to have if you run performance digital campaigns, which is the saturation effect for every different media, or platform or channel. It's the same, but you got the point. So for every, let's say, Google or Meta, how is the CPA going to increase if I put another 20% budget on top for that channel? And this is really helpful. Even because behind the scene, this, and Marco will probably tell you more about this, but behind the scene, this input is taken by the platform to maximize performances with a certain overall budget constraint. So it's also useful for budget shifting across different platforms within the same amount of budget for the month. And then a very nice feature is that if you approve the suggestion that the platform is going to provide you with, and we now do this at a weekly basis, like every week, we meet with our media agency and Nexoia, and we together observe the results and observe the simulation from that day to the end of the month, so we know how above or below the target we are. And we discuss about, okay, what's the right budget optimization, and if we are okay with the suggestion from the platform, we can push the change directly to, let's say, Google Ads, and increase the CPC, or increase the reach, or whatever. Okay? So it was really helpful having this for us. And I want to spend just 1 minute more on how this works. Sorry, Marco, if I'm anticipating something. Okay, but some of you might ask, what data are coming in the platform? And it's kind of easy because you all know, like, Google has APIs, so you can sync with it. You can connect with Google, with Meta, with Divo360, with Quantcast, and you can get data into one place, one single bucket, okay? But you also know, if you work in the digital environment, that this doesn't avoid duplication of conversion. So the same conversion can be seen by Meta and by Google, and each one of them can say, okay, that's my conversion, I drove it. So what did we do? And this is another very nice feature of Nexoia, it's flexible. So we created a pipeline because we have our own data-driven attribution model, which basically deduplicates the results across different channels and different campaigns. And we send, so it's we who send the proper performance and sales data to Nexoia. And on the base of that, they are able to sync cost data taken from Google with performance data provided by us. And this is how they were able to build omni-comprehensive approach. Yeah, so what did we get? We get a robust approach, a robust way of working, a very linear way of working. So now things are a bit easier, especially because if you remember when I talked about price comparison websites and affiliates, they sometimes do not trust the client. They say, okay, I will do the budgeting. But with this in our hand, we were able to have one weapon to go by them and say, okay, we are paying too much. We want some saving. Can you do that? If not, we can take some other direction. And above all, we reduce the effort by 3 to 5 days per month for calculation, back and forth with emails and communication between we, the agency, the partners, and stuff. And above all, this resulted in a sales uplift. So we A/B tested the solution. We A/B/C tested the solution. So we put in competition our way of doing things, our way of running campaigns, so business as usual, versus Nexoia, versus another party who wanted to build for us, just for us, a tailor-made solution which was basically providing the same type of output. So we ABC tested. It took 4-6 weeks to A/B test, okay? But at the end, we saw that, clearly, the campaigns run by the help and the support of Nexoia. It was co-managed, so they were suggesting everything. Have driven plus 13% of sales with the same budget. Okay, we're talking about a same budget ABC test, and this was incredible to us.
Thanks a lot, Emiliano, for showing us the storm and also how to go through it. So thanks a lot. Yeah, I want to share a little bit how does it actually work. So open the engine and tell you a little bit what it does and how you can do it by yourself at home with Excel sheets and things like that, right? Because it really works and it really gives you an edge on how you actually, what you miss out when you do silos, right? And we proved that now in this case, and it was significantly successful. So in fact, what we do is pretty simple. And you can do it really at home, okay? Now, at scale is a little bit problematic, that's why we are here, but you can do it really at home. So first step is, and you see that on the left-hand side here, we basically read in the data. We connected over 40 different channels, from search, social, to display, including marketing mix models or attribution models, like custom attribution models we can consume, which Emiliano mentioned, and we take it all in and make it comparable, right? That also means if you have an MMM, we can take in the factors and actually calibrate your values to really make it comparable. Because we need to make sure the data is really comparable to a certain extent, so to have a clean asset to start with. And then what we run is time series prediction models. So this is a type of AI which basically uses the past, ideally 3 years of data, normally 6 to 9 months, right? And with that, we predict the future outcome, giving the trends, seasonality, short trends, long-lasting trends in your data. And this doesn't mean just with how it's a CPA, but with each funnel steps. So our model knows there is an impression, there is a click, there's a session, there are 50 micro conversions you put in place, and then there is the lead. So basically tell the model, hey, this is important, and each of these steps has a saturation point, which is relevant for us. So we cannot get better CPLs if we don't have more reach or audiences to go for, right? So this is kind of let's say, the key of the model. And we do this for every campaign, every ad set. So very granularly, and basically massive calculation, and we do that every night. So every night the calculation goes through, and we predict for every ad set, for every campaign, the future outcome. And then you get what Emiliano mentioned, this proposal. So you get a view into what are next 6 weeks, how will it look like, but also, hey, next week we propose to move like that. Or we propose to change your TCPA or TROs like that to get the best outcome. And by the way, this is the outcome we assume we get. Then you click on the button, which he mentioned, and we automatically adjust the budgets in all the channels. Obviously, there are always channels which you cannot just fully automatically, then you can do it the manual way, but that's kind of how it works. It doesn't stop then. We then, on a daily basis, monitor the results, and if we see deviation, because this is all social science, in a sense of, well, today we can tell you where it goes, but tomorrow something happens. There's a big party at the Mexico, and you drink too much, and someone changes something, your competitor moves keywords, suddenly the market is different. So we constantly monitor that, and if we see deviation is too big, we automatically rebalance or propose a rebalancing of your budget. So you can do that at home. It's not that. There's even an Excel formula, which is called excel.trend, which allows you to do simple trend analysis. Saturation a little bit harder, but the rest is actually, it's a very easy process to think about. It's a little bit more complex if you go down the route and if you make it broad, but it's a really, really efficient way to make cross-channel budget allocation work. And to the limits and challenges, right now, and he also said that we go up to 6 weeks, where we reach accuracy of 95% or more in the simulation, which is very good. But we also see it will be harder the longer you go, right? We need more data if we want to do a yearly plan. Also, the external factors are obviously heavy. That's why we do the monitoring. Pricing changes, weather changes depending on your industry. We have e-commerce stores and clothing. Well, if the weather is bad or good, we have a bike store. If it's a good weekend, guess what? It changes everything. So these are signals which are very, very small and then suddenly blow up. And with reactive action within a 24-hour span, we can capture that, but it's difficult. And last but not least, we have always these, what you call not IO bookings, but kind of fixed assignments, right? Going through affiliate partner every day and tell him, hey, now I want 10K more, now I want 10K less, now 6K more. He will not like that. You probably neither. So there is still, some models which cannot work in that or fix AI bookings you have. Nevertheless, these are kind of the limits we have today. But we also work on it, so a little bit outlook. We currently work on quarterly, half-year, or even year budget plans that you will be able to simulate it, obviously with a certain accuracy showing you the data. Also that you can create events. So our goal is that you can say, well, next week I do a TV show, which was the same I did last August. Just tell me how it would look like. Knowing that it's, there's uncertainty, tell me the uncertainty, but tell me how it would react, the system would react, right? And last but not least, we are already working on a POC.
Indietro, go back.
Ah, here we go. I was too long on a page. We're already working on a POC to actually have affiliates also being managed with a half manual process, so they get the email, they can change it, and then we adjust it. So that's kind of where we are working on. Having that said, now we have a problem, right? This is the danger mode of a plane, so please buckle up your seat, make sure you're really good belted. By the way, we didn't study that in. It's his fault, not mine. No, just kidding. So I hope we gave you a sense in the last 20 minutes about Vodafone's story of really breaking down the silos and really going fully AI-driven and performance market, also automating that. I hope you get a sense of how far copilots can come. For us, it's clear that in a year from now, there will be significantly more possible with time series models, also with the modeling of events or modeling. Hey, what happens if I add TikTok to my model, assuming these data, and then just give you kind of a representative of your brand and allowing it to do it, and also what are the limits and challenges today? Where are we and how we're pushing? So I hope this was helpful and you got a glimpse on where the things are going. I have a question.
Yeah.
What was the thing which changed
Is it working?
most radically in the team? It should, yeah. Like, what was the thing which changed most radically in the collaboration within the team and the agencies, like from the process?
I think the thing that changed the most was that we knew we could rely on one common ground. Like, we do not have conflict of interest between potential conflict of interest between one media agency and one publisher. We didn't have a conflict of interest internally because we also handle the big part of the budget by ourselves. So we kind of shifted the approach and we said, okay, let's look at the data. They proved to be reliable. Let's trust them and keep them, keep observe their performances at a weekly basis, but on a shared platform, in the single point.
And how hard was it to melt down the silos? Right. I mean, you had certain teams, or working somehow with each other, but then suddenly you're breaking them.
Yes, in a way, it kind of helped. Having this kind of helped breaking down the silos, because we showed it wasn't in non-interest of, it was of interest for anyone to maintain their position. So it was a lever to break down silos again.
Any questions from the audience? Or any topics? Yes, over there.
I would like to know if the Copilot can also implement these changes, or it only predicts this budgets. Can also implement?
Yes, I'll shortly go here back. Basically, in most of the channels, so where it's about budget or bidding strategy changes, so TCP, TROS, or budget, you can click and we automatically change all the budgets. But it can take an hour, depending on the AI responsiveness, and we verify the change. But yeah, this is absolutely possible. I mean, it is obviously different when it's about affiliates, right? Or things like that. So there it's a digital supporter process, I would call it, with the POC. So they get an email, they need to confirm the change, and then it's written back. And if it's lower, then the rebalancing is scheduled. But yes, the normal things are fully adjustable. Yes. Although it's very focused on, let's say, European publishers and environments, so Google, Bing, etc. So we obviously don't have yet Asian publishers or that much, for instance. Right. One last point: if you would do it again, what would you do different? Like, if assuming we have the challenge, blah, what was the biggest learning?
I would include earlier the media agency.
Yeah.
I would try and put into the tool also some other info from the start, which is something we are trying to do now, like sending to you promotional roadmaps as soon as we have them. So that
CLV data, like this.
Well, CLV, it's a bit more difficult to us, but for instance, vouchers that we, promotional roadmaps, or also ATL, like TV campaigns, just as a signal to improve the fitting of the models and the accuracy of the forecasting.
I hope this was interesting, and I hope we could take you with our flight. Last but not least, there's more pilots like me. So if you see them, that's our team. We're happy to help you or learn more if that's applicable to your setup. And we are at Hall 8.1. And happy to have a chat if you think that's interesting for your performance stack. Have a wonderful time, and thank you very much.
Thank you.